Okay, not a weekend this time. As you can see, I'm at my house. And so, newest member of my adventure family is this beast. This is a 2003 Dodge Ram 3500 with a Cummins on it. It's got about 400,000 K. That's some thunder. That only makes sense because I want to work on it. Doesn't have a bumper, so I got to build a bumper for this thing. So I was trying to measure some things up, and just cost-wise and fabrication-wise, the idea that I had wasn't going to work out. So I opted, just for now, let's go with a C channel, and I'm kind of going to be putting this together as I come up with my ideas as I go. So I've had it this way, I've flipped it the other way, so the C channel is kind of coming this way. Not sure about that yet, but hopefully I can get something done before the skies open up on us Billy and it gets stormy. So let's give her. Okay, so my idea so far is to do a couple of 45s. So much like the top of my rack. Anyway, there's basically goes, instead of just doing a straight 90, like then it's a 22.5 and a 22.5, which would equal your 245s, which would equal your 90. So basically the idea is that it will come and then kind of somewhat contour around before it aims this way again. And I've measured it so it basically comes to about here, because I don't want it a little bit past. It can be passed down here, but up here I don't really want it past, because then it's gonna, attach onto things as I'm driving by. So just made my first cut here, and I don't have my super duper miter gauge that tells me, the electronic one that tells me where 22.5 is. So basically I've just measured 45 and then 90 and then halved that. So because this is 2 inches here, that was 2 inches there, so 1 inch in the center. So I'm going to do that cut on that side, and then with the leftover piece, I'm going to do a couple of returns. So it's going to return once and then return twice. So basically kind of come out like this, like that, and then like that. That's the idea anyway. So it's a little bit different than cutting wood or cutting aluminum though, because it's steel. So it's a little bit hot. I should probably wear better clothing for this, but okay, so I'm not sure where the time lapse left off, but I've got my pieces. Okay, so these are my pieces here. It's gonna go like that, and then that is gonna attach to the bumper over here. So it's kind of hard to tell right now, but I still need to clean up these edges here. See a little bit of a burr there, so I have to take this down, chamfer the edges here, or not chamfer them, just grind them down a bit, clean them up. Okay, we're going to start tacking this thing together. I'm going to attempt to try and keep this nice and square, so I'm just going to tack the top and then bring this down tack the bottom, and then hopefully everything will be nice, because I want this when it has the other 90-degree or the other 22.5 return to be basically 90 degrees. So it will look kind of like this. Basically 90 degrees, something like that. So, but just gotta get a couple of tacks in there and start playing around with it, and probably grind them all off and do it again and again and again until I get it right. Well, that didn't work out at all how I wanted it to. So, I think to save myself a crap load of grinding and recutting all this, I've made sure that these corners are 90 degrees. So it looks how I want on the outside here. This is how I want the outside to look. That's fine. Looking top down, looks like the dog's dinner. It's like absolutely horrible. This is the bottom side, but the gap's worse on the bottom side here than on the other side. So I may just try and fill that gap and then grind it down smooth. And if that doesn't work, plan B, we'll get a piece of checker plate, and we will go across the whole thing, and I'll just do a nice little, me and my welding skills, I'll do a nice little bead along there on both front and back, and that'll be checkered, and we'll call it grip tape and call it a day. So anyway, I'll keep on plugging away here. Okay, super sunny day 2 of the bumper build here. So of course, dreaming up things in the middle of the night, I jumped to put on a piece of flat stock, like a checkerboard flat stock. And then when I phoned up this morning and got them to price out the custom one that I wanted, custom bends and everything like that, it was like $170, so that basically would take the bumper cost of starting to get pretty close to the manufacturer's, like still halfway off. Like manufacturer, I think it was $900 or something like that. But anyway, regardless, didn't end up going that route. So I did go down and I got some more from their scrap bin. So this is what we got going on here. I got some lengths of 1/8 inch flat, and I'm just basically going to lie that on top of there, and it's going to be about 6 inches, and that's going to run along the whole thing. And then I'm going to probably going to spot weld it and then caulk the seam or something like that. I might weld the whole thing, I'm not 100% sure. And then I grabbed some bar there, I may end up using that, and I grabbed some more pieces there. So my plan so far is to take these mounts off on both sides. That one's pretty flimsy anyway. And then I'm going to have the bumper sit along here, and then that flat bar to go in, or the flat plate is going to go in, and then I'm going to have clamps that come down. So whether I just weld on a piece at 90 or I use some of that angle iron, and then I'm going to mount it to there. The underside of the C, basically it's going to sit somewhat flush with the trailer hitch. So I'm probably going to cut this section off so that it sits flat. I'm going to drill some holes up underneath. I'm going to drill properly weld another little flat piece, and bolts are going to go through there. So then it's going to be attached there and attached there, and I think that should be enough for what we got going on. I may end up reinforcing it into here. I did buy long enough bolts that can go through, but yeah, we will see as the day goes on. So we're gonna kind of get going here, start fabricating this thing up, and I gotta finish some welds on this as well and grind it all down and such like that. But yeah, we'll pitter patter and get at her. Next on the agenda is this wonderful little gap down here. Yes, this gap right here. This is going to be a seen side, so I'm just gonna, well, actually this face is not going to be seen anymore because the plate is going to go, oh my gosh, okay, this thing, try this again. Where are you? There we are. Okay, so this place, or this section is probably not going to be seen because I have the plate that's going to cover the whole thing, and then that's going to cut the contour of the actual truck around it after I get it all fitted up. But regardless, I am going to fill this section anyway. These were my bad miters from yesterday, but turned out to be okay. I filled one with metal first, and then I tried one just filling it with, I think this is it here, when I just filled it with actual weld. Like I said, I'm no welder, but she's still coming together pretty solid. Not sure if it would pass the x-ray test, but it's not really required to. It's definitely going to hold up for this beast. So I'll get to welding up this stuff, and then we can start placing it where we want on the actual truck and start figuring out how we're going to put the 1/8 inch steel on top, and then start incorporating my brackets for mounting it. Yeah, I also got some electrical stuff this morning, and about 4 o'clock this morning when I couldn't sleep, yeah, I just went on the old Amazon and ordered a couple of lights for it. So it says they're going to arrive today. I don't really require it for today, but hey, if I can cut the holes in now and then get this thing all painted up and somewhat mounted today, that means I can get this thing in for safety, which is priority for me right now, because I got to go back to work tomorrow. So anyway, we will go. Okay, so that is not completely horrible. How's that for a definition of your work? Yeah, so I think I tried filling in a couple of spots. If I try and fill any more, it's just going to get worse rather than better, take longer time. But yeah, I'll just go over that with a bit more of a flappy disc before I'm ready to paint. But all in all, pretty happy with the outcome. Just got to clean up this side down here the same way and get that all done, and then I can start sitting it up there and start cutting out some of the sides for it and getting it a little bit closer to the actual body of the truck itself. I'll show you what I mean in a second. Okay, so I'm cheapening out here. I needed 7 inches, and it so happens the cutoffs that I got were 13 inches. So I've done 6.5, and it'll still go underneath the tailgate at the back. But I think what I'll do is I'll just I'll make up some brackets that will extend that extra 1/2 to 3/4 of an inch to get onto those mounting brackets up there, just for the sake of 1/4 inch either side or 1/2 inch or whatever it was. And then what I'm also doing is I've got it centered here, and I've got a cutoff there, but I'll just use that cutoff to cap off the end on either side as well. So just going to tack this up into place, and then I'm just going to weld the seam along there, and I'll try and grind it as nice as I can. Not overly concerned about how that looks, because I'm going to be putting I bought this rough texture. It's kind of a bed liner type of material, spray on paint. Never used it before, but we'll try it in this application and see how it goes. Okay, bad hair, don't care. Fit end. I got this thing all fitted up, and pretty happy with it. So this thing would turn around. There it is. There it is. Yeah. So pretty tight. My initial plan was to have that come a little bit further, but didn't end up being the case for this one. Just the way that I had ended up having to mount it on. But I got the L brackets underneath here, mounted onto the frame, mounted onto the frame there as well. And then I've got 2 bolts going up through the trailer hitch right there, so that'll everything will just kind of stiffen itself up. So pretty happy. And I'm gonna now take it off, buff it up, and get a coat of paint on it. Okay, so 2 days into it, probably about, I'd say, a good 12 hours into the project anyway, and this is how it's looking. So my lights haven't arrived yet, but they're supposed to arrive tonight, but I gotta go back to work tomorrow, so I'll just put them in at a later date. But yeah, not so bad. Pretty decent for no plan, no knowledge, and just throw it on there. Yeah, a little bit boxy, but oh, beggars can't be choosers, right? So that is it for tonight anyway. I may add the light section at the end of this video. I don't know yet. We'll have to see how the lights look when I get them, because I have no idea. I just bought them on Amazon at 4 o'clock in the morning this morning, so I have no idea how they're going to result. But they had good reviews, so yeah, who knows. Okay, talk to you, not sure when. Okay, bye.